Back in Melbourne now, and riding a bike in the city may not be as healthy as it sounds. The number of cyclists getting seriously injured has more than doubled in the last 8 years. Tony Nichols reports.
Yeah, just tip them in.
Regular pain-killing medication is now a daily routine for Michael Forbes. While duty as a dad still calls, his life is now almost unrecognisable to what it was.
Mind grabbing the gate for us?
This was Michael Forbes at the height of his semi-professional career. Strong legs, a steely determination and a huge heart, which saw him hold his own against some of the best athletes in the country. He was an AFL umpire briefly at the highest level.
One of footy's great rivalry, Steins jumped early and gave away the free kick.
That life stopped on Beach Road in June 2008.
I remember waking up at 3 a.m. and I tried to speak and couldn't speak because I had breathing and feeding apparatus in me. And I just mouthed the words, "What happened?" I was just finishing my training ride and was clipped on my right hand side by a truck and ricocheted into the back of a parked four-wheel drive.
Hugging the east coast of Port Phillip Bay, Beach Road is Australia's open road cycling mecca, known as Route 33. It attracts more than 9,000 cyclists each weekend. A 23-kilometre stretch now boasts a no-stopping zone, preventing drivers from parking in the left-hand lane between 6 and 10 a.m.
If that rule had been in place on the morning of my accident, I wouldn't be a quadriplegic today.
It's just a lot safer. For the amount of riders that we have now on Beach Road, it is just so much safer not having the parked cars there.
The tradies basically, without singling out a group of people, in their utes generally come very close to you and leave very little space.
In some extremes, the motorists will actually try to intimidate the cyclist by bringing their car in very close proximity in a very threatening manner.
The Alfred Hospital, Sandringham Hospital and the Monash University Accident Research Centre have combined to do a study to help determine the cause of crashes in the Bayside, Kingston and metro areas. Former trauma surgeon Paul Beagler is determined to reduce the carnage.
What we aim to do is to create an in-depth, very high-resolution picture of cycling injuries and hopefully go some way to addressing that imbalance whereby motor vehicle safety research vastly overshadows bicycle safety research.
Sandringham Hospital sees double Victoria's average of cycling injuries. The hospital expects to treat 400 cyclists during its study, which ends in November.
Certainly seen cyclists with serious brain injuries, cyclists who have presented with serious facial injuries needing extensive reconstruction.
While academics and lobby groups don't always agree, Deakin University's Dr Jan Garrard says that an increase in serious cycling injuries of 109% isn't good enough.
For motor vehicle occupants, injuries have declined over time, but for cyclists they've increased. So there's clearly a growing disparity there.
Dr Garrard also believes it's not always the motorist to blame, as our vision shows of these cyclists running a red light. Motor industry group RACV believes that cyclists need to be responsible.
It's really important for cyclists to make sure that they are clearly visible and they do ride properly with half a mind on the driver as well. Cycling will make a marginal difference in some areas of Melbourne, but most commuting is always going to be by private car and public transport. There's no escaping that.
Bicycle Victoria fiercely defends its 50,000 members' rights to be on the road. Its mission is to get as many bottoms out of cars and onto bikes as possible.
I think that every car driver should thank their lucky stars. Every time they see a bike rider, that's less congestion on the roads, that's making their life easier.
More bikes are sold than cars in Victoria, but the popularity in cycling hasn't been matched by the development of transport policies to ensure rider safety. And Bicycle Victoria is reluctant to talk about the obvious risks. They're more concerned about talking up cycling's healthy, green, clean credentials.
Look, it's not very long ago, maybe 20 or 30 years ago, that We had 30 deaths a year of bike riders in Victoria. We're now down to 8. And in that time, the numbers of riders have increased enormously. We're sticking around 7 or 8 deaths a year, and yet our riders are going up by maybe 20% a year.
That's no consolation for those that have lost all but their life.
It's an enormous price. It's horrible. It really is an existence that I don't wish upon anyone. Quadriplegia is really debilitating. My arms don't work, my legs don't work as well as I would like, and I simply can't do what I would like to do.
Off you go, girls, quick. Enjoy.
While transportation groups debate a safer future on the roads, Michael Forbes is learning to find joy on the sidelines.
I feel like I'm spectating a lot, but I know that I'm an important part of my daughter's life. I'd like to think I'm still an important part of my wife's life, but it's a matter of being around them and feeding off their joy and their happiness.
And that brings us to the end of 7:30 Victoria. If you want to comment on tonight's program or make a suggestion for a story, you can go to our website. We will be back next Friday.